So I'm probably disappointed. I'm probably gutted. I'm something has to change, but I don't know who knew what. I'm thinking, why does it just come out now then? You know, I knew, and I'm hearing everybody else is saying they've only just found out. It's breaking.
So there was an adverse finding of a trace substance in one of Conor Benn's VADA tests. Both guys for this fight signed up to various different agencies for testing.
The attempted murder, and they wanted me to be an accomplice to it. They were asking me to take money to come onto the zone and be a...
Conor Benn fails drug test before his rematch with Chris Eubank Jr. This bombshell rocks the sport to its core. Fans are stunned, debates are igniting, and questions are flying everywhere. Drugs can give strength, but heart, timing, and instinct are priceless. In boxing, you can't cheat your way to glory.
In a 2-minute interview, I always say, it don't matter what drugs you take, it doesn't make you a better fighter. It might make you stronger, it might make you fit. It doesn't make you a better fighter. That's proof. You know, so until more news comes out, you just got to deal with it. Let's not.
Eddie Hearn's words show the mess Conor Benn has created for himself. A third failed drug test has thrown the sport into chaos. The board is scrambling, the legal questions are piling up, and every fan is questioning how a fighter repeatedly failing tests is still allowed to step into the ring.
Obviously, at the moment, the British Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, you know, we'll see what rolls.
Frank Warren delivers the harsh reality. Conor Benn's career is on thin ice. 3 strikes on drug tests and his reputation is shattered. Just like a criminal facing the law, he must face the consequences. Redemption is uncertain, and the boxing world is left questioning if trust in him can ever be restored.
So that I can see where they're coming from, but the fact of the matter is, it's like if you go to prison, you're found guilty of a crime, you go to prison, you serve your sentence, and the slate gets wiped clean.
Chris Eubank Jr.'s words cut like a knife. While he has been tested everywhere with a spotless record, Conor Benn has now failed 3 drug tests. The contrast couldn't be starker. Skill, discipline, and integrity are on display in the ring, while Benn's reputation is crumbling before our eyes.
It's a shame, man. You know, it's a shame that we have something now that kind of muddies the story, if anything. It's a shame.
Duke McKenzie doesn't hold back. Conor Benn's actions are a slap in the face to his father's legendary legacy. A warrior who never cheated is now watching his son tarnish the family name. This scandal is not just about failed tests. It's about shattered pride and respect in the boxing world.
So I think that, you know, what he's done, it's like a slap in the face for his dad. His dad was an absolute warrior. I remember his dad well fighting, and he was an absolute warrior. And some of the fights he had will go down in boxing history as being some of the most savage fights ever. I don't think his dad ever got done for anything illegal. And to me, it's just wrong.
John Fury's words are blunt and fearless. In a sport where lives are on the line, Conor Benn's repeated failures make him a danger. Fans and fighters alike demand accountability. Innocence until proven guilty is one thing, but 3 failed tests paint a much darker, undeniable picture.
If Conor Benn's been using, ban the fucker. Ban him. Because it's a dangerous sport. Whatever they do and whatever they don't. But I'm having no opinion on it at all. You know, a man's innocent till proven guilty.
Gareth A. Davies reveals shocking details. Conor Benn was reportedly using 14 different supplements. 3 failed drug tests now make the headlines even more damning. The sheer scale of this scandal leaves fans and experts questioning his honesty, training ethics, and whether he should ever be trusted in the ring again.
Today, I haven't been reporting on it this morning. I'm just slowly coming up. One of my colleagues, Jeremy Wilson's doing it for the Telegraph. He's the drugs expert or the doping expert on the desk, and I think there was something like 14 supplements that he was using.
Frank Warren now steps up to underline the undeniable facts of Benn's repeated failures. Frank Warren lays it bare. Conor Benn's failures are undeniable. Every test is a black mark on his record, and fans are incredulous. The debate is no longer hypothetical. 3 failed drug tests demand action. The fighter who once promised glory now risks being remembered for disgrace.
Facts are he's drilled. The Conor failed a drug test. That is a fact. It's not been denied anywhere. there's lots of talk about, let's see how this works out, and he's entitled to get his day and so forth. Well, it should be dealt with very quickly, and it can be dealt with.
Carl Frampton's words hit like a thunderclap. Conor Benn has now failed his third drug test, and the humiliation is total. This isn't just about cheating. It's about risking lives in a sport where every punch could end a career or worse. Fans are enraged, feeling betrayed by a fighter they once admired, while rivals are quietly reveling in the scandal. Integrity, discipline, and respect qualities every boxer is expected to uphold are being trampled. Benn's repeated failures not only tarnish his legacy but also cast a shadow over the Benn family name, once synonymous with honor and grit. The boxing world is watching closely, demanding consequences and questioning how he is still allowed to fight.
High-profile guys getting caught, and it's just horrible. Genuinely, and I know you without going fucking fully mental here. I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned. You should be.
Johnny Nelson lays bare the brutal truth. Conor Benn's repeated failures show that no drug, no supplement, and no shortcut can replace genuine skill, timing, and ring IQ, the very qualities that define a true champion. His third failed test is not just a personal disgrace, it's a statement to the boxing world that cheating cannot create greatness. Fans feel the betrayal deeply, watching a fighter squander talent and legacy for momentary gains. Rivals gain an upper hand without throwing a punch, and the Benn family's reputation is under attack. Boxing is about intelligence, instinct, and heart qualities that drugs cannot buy. Benn's failures are a glaring warning that shortcuts only lead to humiliation.
I say, drugs don't make you a better fighter. Drugs may make you a little stronger, may make you a little, give you a bit more energy, but it don't make you technically smart. It doesn't give you all of that. So those drug cheats that do it purposely, you've got to remember, why are you doing it? What difference is it going to make? It's going to make you like a boxing Einstein?
Dave Coldwell captures exactly what fans and insiders are feeling: shock, anger, and disgust. Conor Benn's third failed drug test turns initial disbelief into full-blown outrage. The term cheating bastard sums up the sentiment perfectly. Even before knowing the exact substances involved, his credibility and integrity are in tatters. Supporters are questioning every victory, every claim of hard work, and even his right to fight. Boxing is a sport built on courage, discipline, and respect for one's opponent values Benn has repeatedly violated. Each new revelation erodes trust further, and the sport itself is left reeling. His failures aren't just personal mistakes, they are public humiliation with consequences for everyone who believed in him.
Action is, fucking hell, cheating bastard. Yeah. That's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is, but then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet, and we don't know what it is. But then when it's somebody that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction.
Don Charles doesn't hold back. Conor Benn's third failed drug test is a stain that cannot be erased. In boxing, taking banned substances is unforgivable because the sport is inherently dangerous and every fighter's life is at risk. Charles highlights not only Benn's personal failure, but also the governing body's lack of strict enforcement. Repeated leniency allows cheaters to tarnish the sport and manipulate outcomes. Fans are outraged, rivals are furious, and the reputation of the Benn family is under fire. This isn't just about breaking rules, it's about disrespecting the ring, the legacy of clean fighters, and the trust of millions who watch. Benn's actions scream negligence and dishonor.
Taking drugs, this is very unforgiving. You can't, I'm sorry. Provided he's been found, it's 100% that those substances were found in his system, it's unforgiving. And you know what, I blame the governing bodies because I don't believe that they imposing heavy enough fines.
Eddie Hearn gives a human perspective, defending Conor Benn despite the third failed drug test. While he stresses loyalty and personal trust, the reality is stark. Repeated failures have already humiliated Benn and put his credibility on the line. Hearn's argument about character and personal observation clashes with the undeniable facts of doping. Fans are torn, some sympathize with Benn's personal struggles, but most see a pattern of negligence that cannot be excused. In boxing, reputation and discipline are paramount, and no pleading can erase 3 strikes on integrity. Benn's story now sits at the intersection of personal loyalty versus public accountability, and the sport demands clarity and justice above friendship.
It's really difficult because everybody will plead their innocence. When you've got a kid that you've known for, 6-7 years, who, virtually lives with Tony Sims, who is, a very close friend of mine, the most, you know, 100% solid man in boxing who spent 13, 14 weeks with his dad living in his house, who comes into your office, you know, breaking down on the floor, pleading his innocence, looking you in his eyes, giving you every opportunity to tell you the truth. And when you see the facts, I believe that Conor Benn is innocent. Maybe it's because he's my mate, and maybe it's because...
Duke McKenzie's words cut straight to the core of the Conor Benn scandal. After failing a third drug test, Benn is no longer just under scrutiny, he is a liability. Boxing is a sport where every punch carries real danger, and using banned substances amplifies the risk exponentially, not only for himself, but for every opponent. Duke argues that Benn's license should be revoked immediately, a stance that resonates with outraged fans and fellow fighters. Repeated failures have turned him from a rising star into a cautionary tale of arrogance and negligence. What was once raw talent is now tainted with dishonor, and the Benn family's legacy is being questioned. This isn't merely breaking rules, it's endangering lives, eroding trust, and undermining the integrity of the sport. The calls for accountability are louder than ever, and Duke's fiery statement reflects exactly what the boxing world feels.
If it was me, take his license away. You know, because you cannot cheat in the sport of boxing. Not if you're going to put on a pair of gloves and get inside that square circle and physically fight somebody, and potentially you could easily lose your life, then to take anything which will give you enhance your performance, it's just wrong in my book.
Adam Catterall puts the spotlight on the grave safety implications of Conor Benn's repeated drug test failures. Boxing is not entertainment, it is life-threatening combat where every fighter's health is at stake. By ignoring anti-doping protocols, Benn not only risks his own career, but also jeopardizes the well-being of anyone stepping into the ring with him. Voluntary tests have proven insufficient, and Adam calls for stricter enforcement to prevent a disaster on fight night. Fans, promoters, and fellow fighters are all alarmed that someone with multiple violations is still allowed to compete. Benn's pursuit of payday over integrity is a reckless gamble, eroding trust in the sport and the governing bodies. The scandal is not just a personal failure, it's a systemic warning for boxing worldwide. Adam's commentary underscores the urgent need for accountability and rigorous safety enforcement.
To turn up and get paid.
Correct.
This should not be their decision. The British Boxing Board of Control should be standing up and taking the voluntary anti-doping test seriously.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know that you work with the UK anti-doping, I know that, but this is a test. He's popped hot. Let's look into it properly. What happens if something happens on Saturday night?
Absolutely.
What if we've already got a safety issue with the...
Johnny Nelson captures the frustration, confusion, and constant turbulence surrounding Conor Benn's third failed drug test. Fans, insiders, and governing bodies are all struggling to keep up with the ever-changing narrative. Disappointment runs deep because this scandal isn't a one-off mistake. It's part of a pattern that questions Benn's integrity and the credibility of his past performances. The uncertainty and continuous updates create tension across the boxing community. With everyone waiting for concrete facts and accountability, Nelson highlights how the lack of clarity amplifies the humiliation for Benn and the Benn family. While personal loyalty or sympathy exists, the repeated failures make it impossible to ignore the truth. This situation isn't just about a single fight, it threatens the credibility of boxing itself. Fans demand transparency, strict punishment, and immediate reform to ensure no fighter endangers lives or tarnishes the sport again.
No matter what drugs you take, it doesn't make you a better fighter. It might make you stronger, might make you fit. It doesn't make you a better fighter. That's proof. You know, so until more news comes...
Tony Bellew delivers a sobering reality check. Conor Benn may possess raw fighting talent, but repeated drug test failures, now at 3 strikes, overshadow any notion of superiority. Bellew emphasizes a critical point. Being a fighter is different from being a boxer. Raw aggression and brute force cannot replace technical skill, timing, and strategic thinking, the foundation of true boxing mastery. Benn's repeated cheating not only humiliates him, but calls into question every past victory, leaving fans and critics to wonder if any of his achievements were earned fairly. The scandal has turned him from a promising contender into a cautionary tale about how talent alone cannot shield a fighter from disgrace. Every jab, every punch, and every win is now scrutinized. Benn's actions threaten his legacy, the sport's integrity, and the trust of millions of fans. His raw ability cannot mask repeated dishonesty.
Conor is a far better fighter than Chris Eubank Jr is a boxer.
Technically, yeah.
And that's the problem that Chris Eubank Jr is having. He's got this thing in his mind, he's a masterful boxer. No, you're not.
No.
I'm sorry, no, you're not.
The Conor Benn scandal has shaken boxing to its core. 3 failed drug tests, repeated humiliation, and a legacy now under fire show that shortcuts in this sport never pay. Fans, fighters, and promoters are demanding accountability, stricter testing, and zero tolerance for cheating. Boxing is built on skill, discipline, and honor, and Benn's actions threaten every principle the sport stands for. If you want to stay updated on the latest boxing controversies, breakdowns, and in-depth fight analysis, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the conversation in the comments. Don't miss a moment of the action.